Hello and welcome to Old Man Minecraft. I'm an old man and I play Minecraft. Today we're looking at the humble dropper, how to get it to spit everything out all in one go. Because what happens when you link a dropper up to a button and some redstone? You'd have thought, being a dropper, it would drop everything, but it just drops one thing. Now this can be useful, but not if you're automating farms or anything like that. You want it to spit, generally you want it to spit everything out all in one go, and even if I spam that button, it's only going to spit a few out at a time. That's not what we want. I don't want to stand next to my farm pressing buttons. What about a switch? Surely constant redstone signal? Nope, still spits out one. Now it's a little bit faster to spam, but again, I don't want to be spamming buttons to get my farms to work. I want this automated. So next logical step, surely a power source, an actual redstone block is a power source. If I push that up next to it, surely that's going to give it constant power. Well, yes it does, but it only activates when the constant power first comes in. We need a pulse, we need a repeating pulse to keep clicking away and activating that dropper. Now we're going to use the comparator. Very interesting. You do need to go to the nether to get one piece of quartz to make a comparator, but this is actually going to pick up any signal that's coming from a block behind it. In this case it's a cauldron. This works with beehives, composters, all sorts of things. It's going to give out a redstone signal depending on how many layers of water there are in this cauldron. So I'm just going to fill this up and we're going to watch as a signal comes out and lights up some lamps. So if I put in another layer, another lamp lights up. Put in another layer and the redstone signal gets stronger and it can reach a little further, and another redstone lamp lights up. This is going to be very useful for detecting what's in our dropper, which is our first stage. Now this comparator is detecting what's in the dropper behind it. If I put in one diamond, we can see it lights up 2 blocks. None of the others. 2 blocks are lit up. Fantastic. What then happens if I put in more than one? And here I'm going to put in, let's say 23. Pop that in. Oh, it lights up exactly the same. We're obviously going by stacks here. It's detecting one of the 9 stacks, and it also detects how many's in that stack. I think at half a stack or more it tends to light up the next one. So it takes a full stack, 9 full stacks in a dropper to light up everything. But I don't want my precious items backing up in my system just to make everything work. I do need a full redstone signal, or at least a very strong one. I want to detect when there's just one thing in there, and I want to spit that. I want that dropper to spit out one thing. What's going to help us get this dropper to spit out one thing? It's going to be the repeater. Now the repeater will take a signal, even a weak one, from behind it, and remember our comparator's detecting the one object in that dropper and it's putting out a weak signal. Doesn't go to where we want it to go. This repeater ignores the strength and just says, I've found a signal, and turns into a full strength signal and punts it all the way to where we need it to go. Now the circuit we're going to make is very small. We don't need it to be that strength and run for that many blocks, but this repeater's magic is going to help us be more accurate and more compact. They also do something else. I want you to imagine that these are 2 redstone circuits jammed together in my cramped base. I'm going to press this button and I'm going to say activate the water in my carrot farm. Brilliant. It's also activated my iron farm, let's say. So that's my carrot farm. Got carrots flying out here, iron flying out there. It's terrible. I want to section these 2 off. If I grab a repeater, repeaters actually form tubes or pipes that don't allow redstone to leak out left or right. It literally is just going to go up and down straight to where I want it to go, and we've sectioned that circuit off, and that's useful. It's going to be very useful in our circuit, as is the capacity of a solid block next to an actionable block, i.e. a dropper. When that receives a signal, it's going to power the dropper. Obviously if there's an airspace between the 2, that's not going to work. So I power it again, nothing happens. Weirdly enough, if I just grab my diamond, weirdly enough, if I just pop in a redstone dust, that's not going to work. It's not going to pull the signal out of the solid block and into the dropper. But what have we just learnt about repeaters? Let's have a look. I think a repeater will be able to detect that, pull that out, turn it into a full size signal, full strength signal, and it makes it work. We're not going to use that. We are going to use the capacity of the solid block to activate a dropper, and I'm going to grab all the bits and bobs I need and get back to you. Here we are. I'm going to put my dropper down. I'm going to fill it up with diamonds. Now, this is going to be giving out a signal. We can pick up that signal, remember, with a comparator. There we go, it's lit up. It's pulling a signal out from these 64 diamonds. Now I'm going to put in a repeater. That's going to turn it into a full strength signal. I'm going to come out with some redstone dust. And remember, this is a comparator. So it's going to compare signals. It's going to compare a signal coming in from the side with what's coming in from the back, from the dropper. So this dropper's giving it a signal strength, and it's looking to see if the last pulse it put out, which it repeats and feeds into itself, is bigger than what's in the dropper, and it'll only stop when the dropper is at 0. Very, very clever. I did not come up with this. I can't imagine how clever people must be to come up with this stuff, but that's what happens. This is only going to be looking at the dropper's contents, and it's only going to stop this pulse when it reaches 0. Now remember, we needed a pulse, didn't we? We needed a pulse to keep firing the dropper. So that's like a circuit of 2 halves. Now we need to come past this comparator into this solid block. So this comparator here, if I put redstone, it's just going to feed into, there are 3 inputs for a comparator. It's actually going to use that input up, which I do not want. I want to bypass that and go straight into this block, and look what happens when I pop down a repeater. That pulse now starts going into the solid block, which goes into the dropper, which spits everything out inside it. Absolutely every single thing. And it's going to stop when it reaches 0. It's only a 3x3 circuit with 2 blocks at the front, functional blocks. And I think this is one of the cleverest things I've seen. So now it's going to stop as soon as we get to the end of these. There we go. As soon as we spat out all the diamonds. Now remember, this could go into a water stream going up, a bubble column going up. It could go into a water stream going over a sorting system. It could be even something like an automatic armor dispenser. But there we go. That's it. Hope you enjoyed. This is one of my favourite circuits, and I found it very useful. And I'll see you again next time. Cheerio. Today's time is 57 degrees.